That's a little bit of what we're working towards, and more than happy to go into any more depth of the natural disaster work that we're doing that we've explored, or even just drones or our business in general. More than happy to take any and all questions. Yeah.
What's the most ridiculous thing you made for a drone?
A flamethrower.
What?
This is like one of our very, very early prototypes. Not using GPS. People worrying about safety. All right, I have at least three like real use cases, but besides just the term craps and giggles, that this could be used for. Anyone want to take a guess of what those three use cases may be, or again, just another use case that you may have, like an actual legitimate use case? Yeah. Yeah, so perfect, and touches on disaster relief efforts. So there are already people on the ground that will use flamethrowers as part of wildfire management, because you want to do what's called controlled burns, where especially if there's a wildfire already raging, you'll want to create a barrier of like 12 to like 18 feet between the forest, or the part of the forest that's burning, and maybe another part of the forest that you don't want to burn. So they will actually proactively get ahead of the fire, burn everything, so there's like a buffer period between where the fire is and where they don't want it to spread. So probably not the most practical option for that use case, but there is something that we've explored with one of our customers that has a large crop spraying drone that we've modified to deploy clam and oyster seeds alongside the coastline. And using that same sort of deployment mechanism, you can deploy what are called dragon eggs. And it's basically like miniature balls of napalm, essentially. And so you could actually use that to create like a fire break line without having to risk any boots on the ground, because as we know, wildfires never get out of control, right? Yeah.
Is there anything else like that, like any other weapons these days for your drone?
So a flamethrower is not a weapon as considered by the ATF, which is the federal government organization that oversees alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. The FAA, however, they do treat flamethrowers as dangerous weapons or whatever when attached to a drone. So we can legally make and sell a flamethrower. We can legally make and sell a drone, but it is technically illegal for us to even market this because we're showing both of them together, and we can't sell both together. Now we can sell both part of the same order, and they just happen to attach, but then that's on you as the customer. But we're not going to start selling that without being able to market it effectively. And to do that, we would have to be okay to taking a fine up to $25,000, which I don't have in our marketing budget yet. So if anyone wants to help us market flamethrowers for drones, we could use $25,000 of backing.
Do you sell flamethrowers?
No, we don't. So this is a very rudimentary. Now we are working on a newer sprayer mod kit because again, that's all that this is. This is a sprayer device that we just happen to fill up with fuel, and then we put electrical. We took apart an electrical lighter and then basically made it so the fuel shoots through the little electrical spark from the electrical lighter, and then you have ignition and a flamethrower. And then like the fuel was actually just pressurized with a pipe pump. So
not how to make a flamethrower.
Well, again, totally legal, and if you try it at home, it wasn't my idea. Really quick, the other two examples of the flamethrower that I think would actually take off, but all right. You guys have all seen like the drone light shows, right? I would love, especially, I grew up with Pokemon as a kid, and probably like many of you guys, and I saw like Nintendo do this like drone light show where they have like Pikachu fighting Charizard, and it was all just drones lit up in the shape of Pikachu, and then lit up in. What if you have like 5 of those 1,000 drones with a flamethrower attached? So when Charizard uses flamethrower, he's actually like breathing fire and not just like drones lining up in the shape of fire. Like, where's the fun in that, right? And then beyond the controlled burns for like wildfires, natural disaster scenarios, there's a lot of people in rural environments that do their own burns, on their property. And I've heard people, have to get rushed to the hospital because like the fire just gets out of control and like singes their eyebrows, kind of best case scenario, or sometimes gives them like second, third degree burns. And so why not, just have a drone to set one of those fires instead of, getting up close to it yourself, right? Yeah.
So if you were to sell a flamethrower, what would be like the going rate?
Honestly, it's probably not that much. We are in the process of lowering our prices of the larger developed air models. We just come out with new updates for them. So let's say roughly $2,000 for the drone itself. Definitely under $1,000 for the flamethrower. Add-on probably like sub $500. I mean, the version that we built was like $60 worth of components maybe.